All right, finally, there we go. Thank you so much for tuning in to WNCR-TV Now as we talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation. 7 minutes past this, 8 minutes now past 8 o'clock hour this morning on WNCR-TV, WAJA. Had to get the streaming situation working and all the other good stuff, and then take my green screen, or blue screen, whatever you want to call it, screen off as well. And so now we look like we're good to go there. And so now we are on YouTube. We're on Facebook Live as well. Was navigating between those, and then the radio station was doing something crazy. So I got to figure that one out once I get off the air today. But nevertheless, we are yet here on this 24th day of March. Wow, a day we have not seen before. And I tell you, this year is going by so fast, so fast. Everything is everything. Let me share the Facebook Live video. Let me say good morning. Good morning to you. The sun is shining. There's so much to do. All right. So what's happening in our news? I'd like to hear that from you. What's going on in North Carolina General Assembly? Let me know. What's going on locally? Let me know as well. And in between that time, I'll share some things with you as I know. Of course, today is a city council meeting. City council meeting also have a committee as a whole meeting as well. So we're going to check out the agenda for today. I think from listening to the retreat, it should be a relatively quick city council meeting today. And typically the 4 are. So today, of course, today's city council meeting is at 4 p.m. And a lot of things are or should be on the consent agenda to make it as expeditiously completed as possible. I guess I can use the word expedient. But let's see here what is on the city council agenda for today by going to RockyMountNC.gov. That's RockyMountNC.gov, and then looking for the city council agenda for today. Council agendas and minutes, and today, of course, is the 24th. And let's see here. I got the Addams Family music. I was like, what is this? The Addams Family musical. Okay, book by Marshall Brickman and Rick. Anyway, that's going to be going on March 28th through the 29th, and April the 4th through the 5th, March 30th, and April 6th at 2 p.m. Interesting. So okay. So here we are. There it is. So it's going to be a meeting called to order by the mayor. Then there's going to be prayer. There's going to be a roll call by the clerk. Then there's going to be item 4, which is minutes of special committee of a whole meeting held on September 23rd, 2024. That was a comprehensive park and recreation master plan for 2024. The commuter bus service, the forgivable loan for restaurants and uplift downtown, and of course closed session minutes. Then it's going to be the consideration of additions and or deletions to the agenda. Number 6 is community update by interim city manager Peter Varney. Item 7 is presentations and recommendations, and that's going to be consideration of resolution recognizing and congratulating Rocky Mount Academy and Lady Eagles basketball team for their conference and state championship. Another one includes a presentation proclamation proclaiming the month of April 2025 as Fair Housing Month to Archie Jones, the Human Relations Director. And finally, the presentation and proclamation proclaiming the month of April 2025 as Community Development Month to Cornelia McGee, the Department of Community Development Director. And of course, the recommended action is to adopt the resolutions. Item 8 will be the petitions to receive from the public, and item 9 is a consent agenda, which concludes a number of things. Item A is consideration of temporary street closure requested by Reverend Mac Battle to close 900 to 1000 block of East Highland Avenue on Saturday, April the 19th from 12 p.m. until 5 p.m. for a Easter extravaganza. Item B is the consideration of tax release and or refunds. Item C is the consideration of fiscal year 2024-2025 budget ordinance amendments. This is to amend the budget for the wastewater treatment plant roadway improvements to appropriate $489,000 in sewer fund for resurfacing the roadway serving the city wastewater treatment plant. Also, item number 2 is a senior center general purpose to appropriate grant funds awarded by the North Carolina General Assembly to administer by the area of aging in the general fund for the use of Rocky Mount Senior Center for activities and equipment for $11,000. And of course, item D is a consideration approval for Health Consultants Inc., a sole source provider of natural gas leak detection units for fiscal year 2025, requesting accordance to sole source procurement general statutes 143-129E. Item E is the purchase, or rather the consideration of grant agreement between North Carolina Department of Transportation, DOT, in reference to fiscal year 2025 mobility for everyone North Carolina. NC grant is $786,000. The project ordinance for Tar River Transit Mobility for Everyone, appropriating $786,500 for transit microtransit pilot program awarded by the City of Rocky Mount Department of Transportation. Item F is consideration of resolution authorizing the mayor to file and execute grant applications in cooperation with the Federal Transit Administration, that's FTA. Item E is consideration request for authorization to apply for grants through the Foundation of North Carolina Longleaf Fund for a new playground at Sunset Park, $150,000. Item H is a consideration declaring certain personal property surplus and authorizing disposal by electronic auction via Auction Internationals, Inc. Item I is consideration certification by the city clerk for sufficiency of petitions submitted by annexation number 337, 19.14 acres located along Old Carriage Road, contiguous, and scheduled a public hearing for April the 14th, 2025. Item J is consideration of ordinance for community code inspector to proceed with demolition of the following. It's 635 Pennsylvania Avenue, 611 East Grand Avenue, and 109 East Raleigh Boulevard. Item K is consideration of installment financing contract with Webster Bank National Association for equipment for $9.2 million at a fixed interest rate of 3.85% for 59 months for a number of different things there. 2 fire pumpers, a ladder truck, a dump truck, a concrete mixer, a ton grinder, compactor, a front loader, a knuckle boom, a rear loader, a wheel loader, a tandem dump truck, a mini excavator, agricultural telescopic area device with material handling, a raw water pump, a Lux vaporizer, a remote control mower. That'll be their second one, I think, of that. A hydraulic detachable trailer, a dump truck, another tandem truck, 2 leaf and debris loaders, and an automatic leaf truck. Also, consideration of following bids. 1, to purchase a 2007 used Caterpillar diesel fuel package generation set awarded to Gregory Pool Equipment Company for a total of $975,000. And then there's an RFP for pest and termite control service awarded to King Exterminators for $102,000. Base price $39,000 plus $12,000 per year for termite service, or a 2-year contract. Okay. And so, finally, it's consideration of First Amendment to downtown majors. He talked about this in a retreat to Duke's property and construction there, and that's about giving an early draw based on some things that were some issues there. And then it's library board reappointment and appointment. That okay. All right, so that's that there for the City of Rocky Mount's agenda for today. And so then also on today for the City of Rocky Mount, there is a committee as a whole meeting as well. And let's see if that agenda, it is made available here as well. And on that, it's just going to be Waste Haven Apartment Phase 2 and then Rose Street. But also, I think they included some additional things based on what I saw on Facebook, or either they scrapped that from the agenda and made something different. Let me go back here and look at the City of Rocky Mount's Facebook page, because that is not what I remember the notice saying. Yeah, so it says there will be a special call committee whole meeting. There will be a special call committee as a whole meeting on for the City of Rocky Mount City Council on Monday, March 24th, after the regular scheduled 4 p.m. City Council meeting. It will be held at the Freddie Turns Municipal Building on the third floor. This meeting will take place in the committee room, and it's going to, it is. So it's the funding request for East Haven Apartments, the major investments in the grant for Memorial Hospital, and the update on current activity. I forgot, it's 8 o'clock, and so 8 o'clock today, the City Council is meeting there at the Event Center this morning, where they're having their legislative breakfast. And I forgot to go over there and hear what that is, because I don't think that is being televised now. Let me see if it is or not, if it's on YouTube. Nope. Yeah, I don't think that is something they set up for YouTube, but I could be wrong. So let me scroll down to the actual notice. Yeah. It is, so that's just a meeting, I guess. Just them having a conversation there. Someone asked a question on Facebook. It says, what is the purpose of the meeting? Who can attend? I'm not familiar with this event. Any meeting that is the full body of an elected body in the state of North Carolina, whether it is, I'll take that back, whether it's an elected body or a public body, it is subject to the open meeting laws. And so therefore, anybody can attend those meetings if at some point in those meetings, if that board has such duly authority and authorization and power, basically from the General Assembly, they could go into closed session. There are some boards that does not have such a privilege of going to closed session, because they will be functioning in a situation in which that authority would be granted to them. So anytime you see a notice requirement of a particular meeting, it is certainly open to the public. You can certainly attend those meetings and see firsthand what is going on. And of course, this one would be pretty cool to go to, in that it is not being captured, at least not in a live format, from what I can tell based on the meeting notice. So that's that this morning. I got to also find out that yesterday there is a young lady about, 103 years old, who watches a television program from time to time. I met her caregiver on yesterday at Pop's Diner, along with her dad watches the program. So she got some food for her dad, and his name just slipped my mind right now. That's old age. Okay. But good morning to everybody who watches the program. We certainly appreciate each and every one of you, including that of James Bullock, Irma Maxwell, Gwendolyn Swain, too, I saw her name too, but Evelyn Johnson, Venice Harris, Andre Smiley, as well as Allison Williams and Reginald Manning. Thank you all for tuning in to Wncr-Tv Now, as we continue to talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation. One thing I think that I did not share, because I think we just ran out of time, maybe, was the budget presentation from Assistant City Manager Ken Hunter as it relates to the city budget, and some conversations about a $9 million deficit. I got to look more into that, because that number just keeps right on resurfacing. And what is kind of concerning about it is there's never really any public robust conversation as, okay, how did you derive to this number? If it was me, I would be saying, okay, don't give me no $9 million big flag type situation. Give me a breakdown that we have a deficit because it was associated to payroll costs with Parks and Rec, or was associated to capital improvement subject to some said property, right? So I don't understand how there could be that amount of money and there's no public discussion around, well, how did we get there? And I'm trying to figure out if it's how do we get there again, or how do we get there for the first time? Because now I'm kind of confused, because there was a $9 or $10 million deficiency, I thought, either last fiscal year or something. And so I'm just kind of perplexed by that whole situation. I wanted to pull it up, but this computer found itself needed to reset itself. So that's okay. as well. Good morning also to Deborah Gunner. Thank you for tuning in to WNCR-TV Now. We're also on Facebook Live. We're also on streaming as well. Gwendolyn Swain, I see you there on YouTube as well. Now, I found out that people, you can, if you got the YouTube app on your TV, you can just certainly type in or search WNCR TV. And as long as the YouTube stream is up, you can see it live and crystal clear. I mean, it was a pretty impressive little presentation of that stuff when I was watching it over the weekend there, because I was like, I'm get to see myself live. Oh yeah, my battery went down because I hadn't charged it, so it didn't reset itself. It died. Okay. So what I was going to do was go to the City Rocky Mounts YouTube page, TV 19. I mean, you could do YouTube, but maybe it'll still pull up with that. Yep. All right. So go to their YouTube channel here and see if I can find that. Good morning also to Alice Bailey. Thank you for tuning in to WNCR TV Now. So I believe it would have been, I think I was there, so it had to be that 20th date. Then we got to wait for these things called commercials. New approach. That's, so it might have been the afternoon session. Yeah, it was the afternoon session. So let's see if we can find the afternoon session of the retreat. That would be, here it is right there. And so, I was trying to play this slide Friday, but obviously I ran out of time. And I kind of extended time. I still don't think I actually played it. So it goes in, it's by Unit Cemetery. Outlay projects. Or maybe I saw something somewhere else. Yeah, right here. So, all right, so here it is right here. Let me make sure the thing is up because I just restarted that computer. Appears to be. Is my volume up? Yep.
Expanded our technology infrastructure, and you especially see this with downtown Wi-Fi as well as public safety. Continue necessary and initiate necessary infrastructure improvements to our utilities, as well as what you adopted in June of 2023, implement a classification and compensation plan. With those initiatives, it is understandable to realize that they do bring noticeable increases in costs to the city, just like they would any organization. There are several factors that contribute to this, and that includes the impact we've seen of inflation, the significant rise in the price of goods since 2021, as well as general market availability, which does pose challenges when you are budgeting on an annual basis. And I imagine for some members of council and some members in our audience and watching online, you order something and it used to maybe take 6 months and now it can take 24 months. And those pose challenges for us, just like it certainly does for everyone else. And that market availability also contributes to higher costs themselves because there's higher demand. That's not inflation in the general sense. That's more of a specific issue, just like what we're seeing with the price of it, what we've seen with the price of eggs recently. There's also the impact of the classification and compensation plan, as we've talked about in the last 6 months. This did enable us to restore staffing levels to pre-pandemic levels and the loss of several employees even after the pandemic. However, the actual costs were greater than forecasted when the plan was actually implemented. All of this together, particularly with the general fund, has created a negative impact on our fund balance. As Mr. Beloke said, we have not finalized the audit for fiscal year 24. We've provided you an estimate of what we believe the reduction in fund balance is going to be based on budgetary numbers. But you take the numbers from 2024 and 2025, we would be looking at about a loss of $9 million. Now, we had built fund balance from the years prior to that. I want to be clear about that as well. So there was growth in that fund balance of a similar level. However, what it does require as we move forward, and we started taking action this current fiscal year, and we certainly will continue to take action next fiscal year, is prudent spending control. We certainly want to make sure that the initiatives and the goals and the objectives that City Council sets are met and fulfilled, and that we have the resources to do so, and we will do so efficiently. And we also see the need to ensure efficiency with respect to our ongoing operations that all of our residents depend upon. So as we went and we provided this information to our departments, and
So maybe I did share that on Friday. I didn't. Again, I heard it live there at the place, and so I might have played it again on Friday, and so I might be a little bit thinking I didn't play it, but maybe I did play it, share it on Friday. But then, because I think I did, because I go back and talked about how is there a deficiency of about a $9 million in fund balance, but yet there's no increases, there's none of that.
Projects. It's important that we ensure effective core service delivery, make sure that we are paying attention to the condition of our capital operations and ensure capital maintenance, and also importantly is to improve workforce safety. And that is something that can be expected with a newer workforce, a little less experience in our workforce, and ensuring that they're doing their work safely and professionally for their sake as well as for the sake of the city as well. The following here is a review and preparation schedule that I wanted to share with you. The key thing I want to say is that it's our intention to distribute the notebooks and make available at some point on the website with some additional discussion prior to that of the proposed budget to council around May 16th. So there is time for us to meet with council to kind of discuss priorities. We hope to gain some guidance during the course of this meeting, probably tomorrow. And then also we would then go, and in the formal proposal, we're looking at around May 28th. So that's the week after, it would be on May 28th. With work sessions going between May 28th and June 4th, those are the formal work sessions. We do plan to have a virtual town hall on the 29th. And again, this is tentative, but it is our goal to meet this schedule. The public hearing would be during the council meeting on June 9th, and adoption would be on June 23rd. And I'm happy to take any questions.
So that, again, another commercial there, but that is the tentative schedule for the City of Rocky Mount's budgetary process as to how that would go. And again, I don't really recall what the questions were thereafter. I think one was, no, that might have been about the comp plan situation. Was there going to be some conversation with the city? But let's see if there was some questions. I can't remember.
You mentioned the inflation impact, and I just want to confirm everything that we have on order that we don't have yet. There's nothing in the contracts that are triggered by, the inflation or tariffs that we would have to adjust our budget on, say a fire truck that we ordered some time ago. That's a set price. We don't have to worry about the increase or impacts of inflation or tariffs on that, or do we?
So generally speaking, because we try to do our best, even with capital equipment, to order on state contracts, those are firm prices. Now, I'm not going to say that that is everything, because I don't want to be proven wrong. So I'm going to be working with purchasing to ensure that that is the case. Certainly, you brought up tariffs, which not only the cost, but the availability in terms of lead time could be a concern. So we do our best to ensure that with any type of equipment purchase. Now, sometimes with service contracts, and most notably is the one for solid waste, is the waste disposal contract to send to the landfill. There is an inflation adjustment factor in that year to year, and that's why we adjust the transfer station rate. But generally speaking, when it comes to equipment, it is whatever the quoted price is, and there's no escalator built into it.
Mr. Hunter, at July 1 of 2024, what was the equivalent number of full-time staff members, and what is that number as of today?
So I'm gonna say that we were close to 9. I'm sorry, Mr. Daniels, I think, in his role currently, I think he can answer this question, or at least offer some context.
Do you know where we were July 1 of 2024?
I know that we prepared a report, and I'm having to remember the report at the moment. I want to say that we were close to 900. We were not. I think we have more. I think we do have more employees since then because we filled some vacancies before the freeze, and we've had to replace a few. But we had gotten back to around that 900 number was what I think I'm remembering from the report that I provided back as of the 1st of July.
So one thing that I thought about was when they was having some conversation about it, they said, hey, some of this deficiency was going to come because of inflation and market availability. And then, of course, Councilman Daughtry said, well, are we affected by that and the tariffs and things of that nature? He says, well, no, we are. We order our stuff, and so it comes in at this particular price. And he said, I'm not going to say everything, but at least some of our large ticket items, it's a fixed price, built-in escalators. So then I would and maybe he did as well, would say, well, okay, well, wait a minute. So then where is the $9 million fund balance overage coming from? And I get it. You say, hey, we put more back in fund balance close to that amount, which they did. That's true as well. And so basically what it really is saying is that they added money to fund balance that they really didn't need to add to fund balance. And so now on the balance sheet, it's going to show up as a net loss because you put it there to save it, and then you end up not really saving it because it really helped balance the budget. And so is that good or bad? I think just paper mechanics, it looks and shows up as a negative thing, but in actuality, it is money that you'd already had and you put in place. And so, and maybe that's why there's not really a robust conversation questions around it, as it was collected revenues that they had put inside the fund balance. But, and again, I don't think the city buys eggs. And so when he was talking about, we see the cost of eggs. Well, I just don't think the city is in the business of buying eggs. And so I don't think they were impacted by the rising cost of egg cost either. And so again, the question is, instead of this little bullet of $9 million, I think it'd be beneficiary to the citizenry to know exactly how did you come up with that round number. And when you talk about prudent spending, then what are you going to do in detail to be more prudent and efficient than you were the previous budget term? Carla, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Brunson.
Good morning.
Now, talk about the retreat, and let's go up to the fact that they had Unity Cemetery as a line item. And after listening to Peter, I just don't understand how that property is set up out there. I thought Stokes owned all that property, but apparently that's not true. Now, they're trying to get individuals or ownership of 2 parcels to donate the property. And then you have Cedar Hill. When they took Cedar Hill over to that location, why is it in a different... I didn't understand what Peter was saying. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Wasn't it a part of cemetery? I mean, Unity? If it's annexed means it's still a part of it, right?
So they are, I put the parcels on the screen, and so they are certain plots of land that is not consolidated, right? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sites of land in which they have found burials on.
Okay. And they know who owns all of that property out there and how much each person, the acreage for each person.
They do. So, of course, one is which is commonly referred to as the Stokes property, which is the main area. I thought I had this on pause. Obviously, I don't. Well, you can kind of see. I'm going to go back and make it bigger, though. But, well, this talks about it right here. So, when he talks about the Warner property, which commonly is referred to as the Stokes property, he's asking that to be donated to the city. And then in the back of the little purple part there, it was Gentry Restoration LLC. He said they sold that, and now they're trying to work out to carve it out from the property they have, because again, it's buried on that as well. And then there's 2 tracts of land which there's no deed or no known heirs, and that's that part right between what the city of Rocky Mount owns, and then right between what we commonly call the Stokes property, which is deeded in Aaron Warren's name. And then the other one, which is Penny Lawrence and Simpson heirs, they have not been able to locate any heirs, and so they're going to use some type of formal process and authority as outlined in General Assembly to have that property then deeded into the name of the city of Rocky Mount.
Okay, so that's eminent domain, right?
So he used some other term that was not eminent domain. So really, I don't think you could use eminent domain because I don't think it'd be considered. Well, I guess it could be kind of considered blight, but no, I forgot exactly what he. If we listen to it, he might even say it again, but I forgot exactly what it was. But it's similar to that, where the city will take site control of the property, essentially, and 2 of the properties being donated. That's of the up left-hand corner, a little small nod there from now it was Gentry Restoration, somebody else now, as well as the Warner property.
So have they figured out how many plots is out there?
No, I think that work had started and then it has stopped. I don't know if they ever employed a ground penetrating radar to kind of go and dive deep into the soil to see if it bounced back, to let them know there's indication of a burial. There are some known burials, obviously, that has grave markers and stones in place, so you can recognize it as that easily as a grave site. And then there are other areas in which you may not, unless you have the ground penetrating radar. And of course, not every plot was filled, right? So there's still some purchased plots that were never utilized.
Okay. So my other question is, they have all this money allocated. Why? I know Keith closed the project down, but why don't Peter go ahead and get somebody in there full time?
Well, I think that was one of the questions about getting some of those people back working on some of the historical pieces of it and pulling together old obituaries and things of that nature to find out who's buried where. Some of that stuff is in, my understanding, the Imperial Center, based on what Mr. Varney said at the retreat.
But didn't they buy that building right there on East Grand?
They did, and that was supposed to serve as a unit cemetery.
So why they don't have it there instead of over at the Imperial Center?
I would just say, for me, just thinking out loud, not knowing for sure, the Imperial seems to be the more secure location of that, because you can have someone always there at the Imperial Center versus at that building. And not saying someone's going to break into the building and steal material, but just, I think to have it in a manned location is better until you get that office staffed, like I guess whatever a long-term plan is for it.
Okay. It was another question I had. So they're getting ready to start working over there again, or what are they going to do? This has been going on too long.
That seems to be the ask of Councilman Knight and others there. In fact, we've seen, I don't need to replay it, but that seems to be the ask. They are trying to get that group back together. And now Peter said that there was some work being done over there during the winter months by Parks and Rec.
Well, personally, other than Ms. Lewis, I think they need to go in and revise that entire board. Some people just want to do things for the namesake. Some people want to do things because they're behind the scene, and these are the people who really get things done. I don't think they should go back in, being that the project has been closed down, and bring the same people back. That's not fair. I think they should open it up and then make decisions as to who is going to be on that board and what their title is going to be. And a monthly report should be given to the city manager as to what they're doing. This is how we get control. This is how we get things done. They don't answer to nobody. People go in and say they're working. Here again, Elon Musk, and they ain't doing nothing. So I think a lot of things is delayed simply because nobody is overseeing like they should be. And there are individuals that I know, including myself, who would take on one of those plots out there and fix it up based on the fact that you got 1.7, I believe, allocated. And once they find out how many plots is out there with bodies on it, allocate the money for people to get it fixed up. And I think about $2,000 per plot should do it. If it's not that many people out there, if it's 200 or less, I don't know how many is there. And it shouldn't be uniform. I don't know what their plans are, but when I look at old historic cemeteries, you don't want everything looking the same. I mean, the fencing could be nice, and I would recommend that they put the wrought iron fence there because that's what you normally see in historic cemeteries. But I'm just disgusted with the entire project. I really am, especially if you're going to bring those same people back in. You close it down, that means you got to start all over again. So why bring in leftovers? I think Ms. Lewis did an excellent job as far as being able to find out who ancestors are, Mm-hmm. And there's another lady in Tarboro. I think she worked with the college there. I can't recall her name. She's a white lady, but she does very good research. But I'm just disgusted with the whole thing. It's just like that shed downtown, the CXX. Nobody talks about it. They're not doing anything. It's been going on for the past 10 years almost. What in the hell is going on with City of Rocky Mountain? And you keep talking about shortfall. Can't find money. Mm-hmm. Can't do this. Can't do that. I just don't understand. And I truly now understand Elon Musk. I think some of his approaches is wrong. But clean the swamp. I hate to say it because it appears that a lot of that is going on. And I'm disgusted with having that retreat at Embassy Suites down in Wilmington. I looked at the chairs those people were sitting in. If I had gone Thursday, it would probably have to get EMS to get me out of there. I would have been so stiff. Why can't you just prepare us for armrest? It just looked terrible. And I know they probably spent about $15,000 to $20,000 down there for 2 days. That's a lot of money. And then Mr. Joyner over at the event center, when he did his presentation, he was like a runaway trail. What is it, those trains that go real fast? Monorail train? Mm-hmm. He was awful. And don't forget the transmission so that people could hear.
Right.
So why are we spending so much money on nothing? You're giving the citizens nothing, and you're constantly complaining. When are we going to get a new city manager? I don't have no fault with Peter, but when are we going to get a new city manager? Nobody talks about that. Like I said, they should bring Elton in. Well, if they're not going to bring him in, when are you going to bring in somebody new? Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm just a voice in the community. But my thoughts are, I don't see why we're in the positions that we're in based on the fact that you have money allocated for certain things and you're doing absolutely nothing. So you have any comments this morning?
Yeah, that's right. I was looking at the plan highlights for the Unity Cemetery. So it says of the $1.46 million, it was $500,000 for gravesite restoration, $375 for perpetual maintenance, and then which I wonder what happens after that. Then there's the gravesite surveying. So these are actual numbers in which you, to your point, you can ask questions. Okay, you had $200,000 allocated for the gravesite service. Who did you hire? When did they come out for gravesite surveying? Right. They had $50,000 for historical markers and kiosks. Okay, where are they? Because these are tangible things in which there's roadmaps on. So your site surveying, they had $10,000 set out for site surveying and title search. And I guess Peter
Can
came
I
in and
get
did
a
it.
copy of? Can you email me a copy? I mean, to send me a copy of that, however you want to send it.
Yeah, that's on their
Because
website, but I'll just send it to you now.
Okay, and I just don't understand. It's heartbreaking. It truly is.
Yeah.
So, whatever. I just don't understand. And what if I want to go out there and say I want to clean up one of those parts? What would they say? Would it be permittable?
Yeah, I don't think there's any known restrictions for that. You remember there was a group of people, not once, twice, maybe three times, they got out there and cleaned up Unity Cemetery in some part over the years that they were doing it. And this last time, when manager Rochelle Smaltoni was manager of City Rocky Mount, they formulated a 5-year plan to try to restore Unity Cemetery. And so since that time, as you said, some things have been done, but not as eye-opening as some citizens would want it to be based on the time in which it started. So understandable.
And I don't understand why they don't get some of these big construction companies in this area who they contract with and even do a decent drive-through. I mean, all of that dirt back there, cost of gravel is kind of cheap. Put some landscaping timber or something to outline that little path back there and throw some gravel if you're not going to pave it. I have a vision. You pay people, they don't have one. Give me a break.
Yeah. And I think some of that land kind of to the pathway you're talking about would probably have to be raised up because it would hold water.
Yes, a swamp back there. When I was back there, it was a swamp.
Right. So they would definitely have to do that and look at, how that water runoff can kind of work. So I think there's a lot of stuff they got to take in consideration. I think the full-fledged thing was, okay, let's go in and let's, cut the trees down. Let's get some of the vegetation up. Let's make some of the grave sites visible. But then there wasn't this conversation about, okay, there's, some retention of water there. How do we deal with that type situation?
Well, you know how long it took them to do Village Road. It's probably going to be the same problem back there. My grandmother, she passed in 1990, I believe, and they were talking about it. And they just completed that project this year. So, come on.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
People got to stay out and make folks accountable for what they say they're going to do at the end of the day. And so, I get it. Tough. Indeed.
Well, what are they saying about the city manager?
I don't know. I think Peter, I don't know how long Peter can work. At the end of the day, he has, August will be a year. And then I think he was there prior to that. I think he was there around this time while, were they hiring Keith? No. It was the year before that. So at some point, maybe he can get unlimited work after retirement. But I would think at some point, Peter is going to want to retire and kind of enjoy life, right?
It is unlimited. It is limited work after retirement.
Okay.
It really is. And my thought is, while Peter's there, being that he knows the ropes and the scopes, why don't he bring Elton into with his office and let him work along with him and go ahead and put Elton in that position?
Mm-hmm. Well,
at least he knows where the dead bodies are. He knows how the city operates. He knows the people.
Yeah.
That would be the most logical thing. Bring him in.
I think Peter will probably be an ongoing consultant for the city, so whether or not he's there. But I hear you loud and clear. You say, hey, you got two city managers, one being there longer serving is Elton, And so perhaps if the city's not doing a national, statewide, or whatever type of search, then they need to do something to get the interim status off of city manager, make a full-fledged city manager. And that was some of the slowfulness of Peter at one point. It was, hey, I'm the interim city manager, from what I've heard, I don't know, but I didn't want to make a whole bunch of actions because the new manager may come in and wanted to undo some stuff, right? And so when you do have a permanent placement manager, there is this sense of permanency within the operations of the city of the local government, and so that would, I think, be beneficial to people who want to invest in it, to your plan ideas and etc. When you have that permanency there with the city manager. Unfortunately, I do know that Rocky Mount has had some more recent history of how they got rid of city managers as well. So that is
Ain't
a
nobody
challenge.
coming to rock about.
That
Ain't
part.
nobody coming to rock about.
That
Let me
part.
forget it.
That
Let me
part.
put it to you very easily. Let me
Okay.
put it to you. It's just, and please, y'all forgive me. Rocky Mountain got a reputation, just like the old hoe, as they say. Too many people being in and out of that department, and ain't nobody want to take it home to mama. So leave it alone. High folks that's already there.
Yeah.
Now that's just it.
I think
And
that makes
everybody
logical
got a
sense.
scarlet letter. Everybody got a scarlet letter on the forehead. Don't keep holding that man back. I know I talked about it one time, but, it was revealed to me you just don't keep holding people back. That message was sent to me. Let that man come into that position. He's there. That's what he went there for as an assistant, hoping that he would be the manager one day.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So,
Yeah.
I'm going to get off the phone this morning, but I just had to say what I had to say, and I hope and pray next year for retreat time, if they're not going to do any better than what they did this year, they need to stay in Rocky Mountain.
Thank you much. Appreciate you.
Bye.
I want to say good morning to we got Alice Bailey, Stanley Richardson, Deborah Manning, also Jacqueline Randolph, Partis, John Jordan, good morning, and Gloria Break. Thank you for tuning in to WNCR-TV now. And so, so that is some conversation that people have been having is, hey, Peter has been in the interim capacity as the city manager since August of last year, after the departure of Keith Rogers, sometime thereafter. And so where are you going to stabilize it? And so, of course, and at this point, you haven't done a national search, and so it would make sense to hire within with that whole situation. Hey, caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing well.
I just want to say this morning about the VA.
Okay.
I have a lady that go to my church. She work at the VA for cancer in Durham. And she was telling me yesterday how they done let so many people go. And you got so many people got applications and stuff in that has cancer. And they just can't get to them. Why is you letting all these people go and you got sick people waiting in line? My brothers, I have right many family members that's veteran. My brother, he sat up there about all day one day when he had to go up there. This is ridiculous because you don't have any help. And then you letting people go? Really? Nobody's thinking about what they're doing.
That's
It's
right.
about the same way they're doing at Pfizer. The packages coming from the head office. They're not looking at your work ethic. They're not looking at nothing. They just pulling names. And now you're getting rid of a lot of the good workers. Now you telling them, well, we might have to call some of y'all back. What? This is ridiculous. When we got laid off, when we did get laid off on a job, they talked to you. But now, Mr. Bronson, they just pull your name and you gone. And then what you got left, you won't know why you got the shabby workers.
That part.
And don't mention how much money people losing in stock. Hey, I haven't called in a long time, but it disturbs me, and I know God is in the midst of everything, but I have compassion for people because I'm all right. I want other people to be all right, too.
That's right.
And we have to be that way. Have compassion for folks. No, I didn't vote for the man, but still I pray for him that God would touch their hearts. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because the man said the other day, he a fifth rich. He's sitting up there talking about, well, if you miss a Social Security check, those people anyway probably ripping off the government. What kind of mess is that? Because his 90-year-old mother-in-law, she wouldn't even miss it. You know why she wouldn't miss it?
What?
You a billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
How dumb is that?
That's right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, people do say some of the craziest things because they sometimes don't think about their position as to where they are financially in life and not realizing everybody ain't like you. Some people are certainly needing and depending on that check month after month to make ends meet. And so if you ain't been there, you don't know. And so what's this? I say, walk a mile in my shoes. That's what some people oftentimes don't tend to do, but try to make broad points of views about what should or should not happen to folks in which they've never been in that capacity. So we shall see what happens there. And of course, the North Carolina General Assembly, what are they doing? I'm sure something will be coming up here soon about NC politics, because it seems to be a ever-growing situation. I'll say that, an ever-growing situation. Matter of fact, let me see what kind of bills might have been filed in the North Carolina legislative branch there. Let's go to NC Ledge. And talking about legislative, of course, they're meeting with Rocky Mount City Council today. And right now, it might be over there. It's 9 o'clock. And matter of fact, I need to get up out of here, but let me see if I can see what's going on today. House convenes at 1 p.m. today. Let's see what's on their agenda. No items for consideration today. Senate floor, no items for consideration. And let's go by action, and let's go for... Let's see what was filed last week in the House. A lot of bills. You got time to go through. Man, so I go for the 2025-2026 Justice session we're in, and I select March the 17th through the 24th, which is today. So let me just go through Friday. But again, there is a list of 9+ pages of bills. Now, it's not the same bill. Let me make that clear. I mean, not multiple bills. It is some that are kind of like an amendments to bills. But like, let's say House Bill 5, which is a North Carolina Constitutional Carry Act. And so that, of course, is getting rid of the carry conceal permits. And so there are some sheriffs across the country, not across the country, but across the state, that saying, listen, no, you should not get rid of that. Now, what they are doing, my understanding is, as a caveat to the bill, is saying, yeah, we're not going to do a carry and conceal permit that is necessary to have it in North Carolina, but you still can get your carry and conceal permit and go through the classwork, because we want to have reciprocity with the other states. And so therefore, we're going to allow you to carry guns and conceal, which is going to be interesting to see what happens there. That is the furtherance of gun laws. Now, again, to that point, you talk about the furtherance of gun laws, and I get it. There are people who are extremely passionate about that, but that same passion is lost when it comes to what our education system looks like. That same passion is lost when it comes to what our health and human services looks like. We get so caught up in these tangible, material, ideological things of stuff that ain't really gonna matter at the end of the day. In the sense that it is gonna matter when you need that weapon, because somebody's trying to take your loved one's life, and so you have to take their life. And so how in the world did we get to a point that the only resolve to a matter is to end someone's life? That is the real question that people want to say, but in the heat of that moment, again, I think biblically you can look at some very heated moments and it still didn't result in death. It resulted in some peace be still at the end of the day. And I say, well, that's not logical. That's not logical. And I get it. A lot of stuff is not logical because we desire for it not to be logical. And so those things that you work at are those things in which you'll pretty much be successful at. Again, in this week, or last week rather, had some action on the Disaster Recovery Act of 2025. There was the LAO separation allowance options. There's the published Central Service Office information. There's a whole bunch of things. The Farmer Protection Act of North Carolina. There's so many bills being filed. You got now, just because a bill is filed, obviously doesn't mean it's going to go to law, become law. It goes through its process, it goes through its various committees. There's this House member, I think it is, that want to legalize recreation marijuana in North Carolina. So that is there as well. Again, the General Assembly is doing everything that it wants to do right now, while the North Carolinians are trying to make ends meet. There's House Bill 171, which is Equity and State Agencies Prohibition of DEI. Of course, we talked about that before as to what that looks like. What does that mean for North Carolinians? What does that mean for a lot of things? What else? Partisan elections municipal. So here it is. So partisan elections in Cabarrus County. So it looks like Cabarrus County, probably local elections as they are in Rocky Mount, are nonpartisan, right? So House Bill 271. Let me look at the bill summary versus the digest. They don't have one for it yet. Let me just read the actual bill, edition 1, and it makes some additions. Okay. So it says the act is to provide that regular municipal elections for municipalities in Cabarrus County shall be conducted on a partisan basis, and provide that only voters residing in districts the city council members represent shall vote for that member of the city of Concord. So here it is that Republicans in North Carolina understand that North Carolina and throughout this country, they have done a mighty fine job, Democrats included, have done a mighty fine job at polarization of just people. And they have figured out that we can make local elections even more exciting if we put a D and a R in front of that individual's name, because there's no such thing as nonpartisan elections. There's, you're going to be voting for some kind of ideology, whether you want to or not. And so here it is again. I mean, they want to make school boards like that, and some have done that. And now you're talking about here in Cabarrus County, they want to make those individuals run as a Republican or Democrat. And to some degree, I get it. You say, hey, you're going to have an ideology whether you run that way or not, which at some sense, I hear you. But at the other piece, it seems to me that people would seem to say, look, I'm not doing this for my party. I'm doing this for the betterment of the city or town. But when you get into Washington, D.C., when you get into Raleigh, for that matter, it no longer becomes about the people, and it's all about what does the party want? What does the establishment want? And you've probably heard those words throughout history about establishment this, establishment that. And that's unfortunately where we are going back to, where, as Ms. Common Sense called and talked about, you're not being concerned about the people being laid off. It's just a number from the corporate office. And that's essentially what we have allowed public whatever it is. Wait a minute. I got to stop right here, because the House Bill 428, which was filed on the 18th of March. Don't know what this bill's about, but the headline just captured me for real quick. And this bill, with a short title, was Study School Discipline and Parent Involvement. So let's see what this is. It says an act to direct Department of Public Instruction to study how parent involvement can reduce recurring student discipline issues. So I don't really know how a school system can regulate or require parent involvement. It says General Assembly enacts that the Department of Public Instruction shall conduct a study to evaluate how certain policies may decrease the rate of recurring discipline infractions with focus on parent involvement. At minimum, the department shall study the likely impact of the following. 1, requiring parents to attend meetings with students and school personnel as a condition of students' returns to classroom after being removed from the classroom for discipline action. I thought that oftentimes happened anyway. Require parents to attend counseling as a condition of students returning to the classroom after being removed from the classroom for disciplinary reasons, including availability of resources for counseling both in and out of school. Requiring parents and students to join counseling to a joint counseling as condition of a student returning to the classroom after being removed from the classroom for disciplinary action, including availability of resources for counseling both in and outside of school, requiring a student to attend a remote instruction instead of returning to the classroom, or other social activities, social and academic impacts that they may have, additional evidence-based practices that a subject matter expert identified to decrease disciplinary infractions. This study shall not include a review of student disciplinary infractions involving students with individual education plans, commonly known as IEPs, or a 501 behavior plan. This study shall not make any recommendations regarding students with individual education plans or 504 behavior plans. So, and if it was, they want them to start conducting this, putting together a committee by April the 15th, 2026. So, that's going to be interesting to see where that bill goes and what the outcome will be. Obviously, there's no actionary items. It's just a study as to what will happen with that whole situation. So that's something, yeah, as I go through this thing. Hey, caller, good morning.
Well, why bring parents into this mess? It's obviously that the child don't have no respect for the home if they don't have none for the school. If the child is that disruptive, you get all these attorneys for school, just fill out paperwork. Somebody need to do the job, and ship his tail on over to the alternative schools. That's all need. All this new mess need to stop. So it's already in place. Just implement it. Just implement it. Put them in alternative schools. That's all. That's all. You know what? I don't know why I'm not a billionaire. I come up with things that, you know, it's already in place. It's there. People just don't want to talk about things anymore, and the reality, they want to dress it up. Whew, thank you.
Thank you. So here's some more. So here's House Bill, whatever this is, 478. And so this is to modify the appointment process for DA vacancies. A bill shall be entitled "An Act to Modify the Appointment Process to Fill District Attorney Vacancies." It says Section General Statute 163-10 reads as rewritten, filling vacancies in the office of District Attorney. The governor shall appoint the person to fill the vacancies according to the office of the District Attorney for causes other than expiration of term from the top 3 qualified persons recommended by the district executive committee of the political party in which the vacancy occurred. These recommendations shall be the members of the political party in which the vacancy of the district attorney was affiliated when elected or appointed. If the vacating district attorney was not affiliated with a political party at the time of the district attorney's election or appointment, these recommendations of the person shall be qualified person recommended by a majority of the members of the General Assembly representing a portion of the prosecutorial district vacating the district attorney. If the recommendation requires by subsection A of this subsection, it was not made within 30 days of accordance to the vacancy, the governor shall appoint a qualified person to fill the vacancies. So I'm reading this kind of differently because it's underlined and crossed out what is new and what's not type situation. But so... And this is what it does. It takes away the power from the governor again. It says the appointment on this section shall hold the appointee's place until the next election of the member of the General Assembly is held is more than 60 days after the vacancy which occurs. At the time the election shall be filled the unexpired term of the office, provided that when the unexpired term of office vacancy occurred expires on the first day of January, succeeding the next election for the members of the General Assembly. Then they crossed out the governor shall appoint. So now it is the appointee shall fill the vacancy upon the expired term of the office. And so now they would get to hold the whole term based on when they do it. So this is again, as I continue to say, you look at what North Carolina is doing. And their goal right now is to change every possible thing they can to maintain absolute. I'm just looking at some of these crazy. This is interesting. Hey, caller. Good morning.
Good morning, Rocky Mount.
How you doing, Mr. Billy Ray?
All right. Good to see you, man.
Good to be seen and good to hear you, sir.
Is your restaurant doing all right this week?
It's doing well. We're waiting for you to come by and get some of this delicious food that we serve over there.
your special?
Oh, well, we really don't do a lot of specials. So every day we just have our regular menu. So that's kind of what we do, from hot dogs, hamburgers, pizza, you name it. Did, of course, on Thursdays and Fridays and Sundays we offer fish as an option as well.
I went to Asheboro this past weekend, and my brother, he's by this hot dog place, and I got 3. They were delicious. They were off the chain, man. The hot dogs I got. And my brother loved them so good. He got 4 hot dogs.
What made them so good?
Yeah, the chicken, the stuff they put in it,
Okay.
The bun was soft, and the hot dog was good. The chili was good. And everything was good on that hot dog. And I got 3.
Yeah, okay. And you ate all 3 of them at one time?
Yeah, you familiar with the place?
No, I don't go to Asheville much. I went there.
I went to Hardest here in Tarboro and got one.
Oh, wait, did you say Asheville or Nashville?
Their hot dogs are really good, but I ate them. But
Wait, did you say Nashville or Asheville?
No, Asheboro.
Asheboro. Oh, yeah, I definitely get over to Asheboro.
Asheboro.
Yeah, I don't get over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I think that Friday night or Saturday night we went to KFC up there, and I got some chicken up there at the KFC, and that was good too.
Hey,
And that's a Chinese restaurant up there that we went to. That's off the chain too.
and what'd y'all go to Asheboro for? To go visit
Went
some
to
people?
this car episode where they have like a spin out with the guys get around there and spin. Just show off. It was a show off, spin off type of race.
Okay.
We really went to see if there's going to be a race, but they say the race is going to be this coming weekend. So we just missed the race, I've been to the race there before, but, it was a kind of a vain thing that the guys take these old cars and have a spin out, just show the cars off, They're down at the pit right there at the racetrack,
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah. And
Well, I'm glad you
the
enjoyed yourself.
I've been to the rodeo. I've been to the demolition derby. You seen the demolition derby on TV, and I know you've seen the race too.
I have.
Yeah. So that's a lot. That's a lot to do up there in Asheboro. As a matter of fact, I went to the zoo, and if you don't want to walk, don't go to the zoo because there's too much walking in the zoo.
Well, you got that, but you like walking, so you got something to exercise out.
Yeah, I like walking, but up there at the zoo is too much walking for me.
I got you.
Where's my preacher man at? I ain't seen him in a month of Sundays, man.
Yeah, I haven't either. He's still passing church, and so
He still stays busy preaching the word, huh?
that's my understanding. Absolutely.
Well, that's good. That's good. And I like your shirt, man. Where you been to, Florida?
I don't know where I got this shirt from, but appreciate you liking it.
That's a sharp-looking shirt, man.
Well, thank you, sir.
What about my lady friend? How's she doing?
She's
You
doing
talked to her
well.
lately?
She's doing well. Her uncle passed away. They had funeral service for him
Oh, I'm
this
sorry.
past.
Tell her next time you see her, tell her I'm sorry that she lost a family member. I'm sorry.
Well, if she was online, she still may be there. I'm not sure.
Yeah, tell her I'm sorry.
I will indeed.
You're doing a good job. Keep up the good work, and you keep Rocky Mountain, Tarboro informed what's going on. Is anything new going on in Rocky Mountain?
Yeah, it's budget time, and so we're getting ready for that, and so hopefully that'll be good to go.
You got what?
Budget time. No, cities and towns are doing budgets, so they're trying to get everything activated.
Get everything straightened out, for the budget. Yeah, yeah. Well, they said that they're having a pumpkin festival somewhere, and I ain't never been to the pumpkin festival. Have you ever been to the pumpkin festival?
Oh, I think that Spring Hope had a pumpkin festival. I think somebody have. I think it's Spring Hope there.
Yeah. All right.
All right, you take care.
Checking out now.
Thank you, sir. I was looking at this other thing here, and this was a House Bill 7, obviously early bill filed January the 30th. It says an act to require at least 3 credit hours of instruction in American history or American government in order to graduate from a constituent institution of the University of North Carolina with a baccalaureate degree, or community college with an associate degree. And it said this act shall be known as North Carolina Reclaiming College Education American Constitution Heritage Act, or the NC Reach Act. This is interesting. So part 2 requires that 3 credit hours of instruction in American history or American government at constituent institutions of the North Carolina University. North Carolina, actually, institutions of the University of North Carolina. There it is. Let me get that out correctly. Except as provided in subsection 15 of the section, the board shall determine the functions, educational activities, and academic programs of constituent institutions. The board shall also determine the type of degrees to be awarded. But I want to know, what are they talking about? So this says, it says the Board of Governors shall adopt a policy requiring each constituent institution of the University of North Carolina to require at least 3 credit hours of instruction in American history or American government in accordance with General Statute 116.11.5. Let me see what that is too. In order to graduate from an institution with the bachelor. Yeah, so, all right, American history government shall be required. Oh, so then they lay out what, this is not what I wanted to see. Here it is, okay. So the American history or American government instruction requires to graduation with a bachelor's degree. Each constituent institution in the University of North Carolina that offers a bachelor's degree shall require as a condition of graduation. I mean, you must have graduation requirement that a course shall meet the following criteria: require a student to read at least 3 of the following documents in their entirety: the Constitution of the United States of America. Wait, is it say 1 or 3? Oh, it shall require a student to at least the following in their entirety. No. You must do all of these. Okay. The Constitution of the United States of America, the Declaration of Independence, the Emancipation Proclamation, at least 5 essays of the Federalist Papers as determined by the instructor, Dr. Martin Luther King letter from the Birmingham jail, the Gettysburg Address, the North Carolina State Constitution. Includes a cumulative final exam on the principles in the documents listed in subsection 1. This final exam shall meet the following requirements or criteria comprised of at least 20% of the student's total course grade. Wow. 20%. So this won't quite fail you, but if you ain't doing good in class the rest of the time, this is when I think, and I'm pausing here before I even read some more, is when elected officials get too involved with education and yet always remotely removed from education at the same time. Anyway, so I'm going to read more about this, but this is quite interesting. I will say that while they got A through G, and they seem to be fair documents to read, and it just means that they got to have at least those 5. I get it. I get it. It can be expanded upon that, but must include this. And again, I do think that every person in the United States of America should have read and be tested on the Constitution of the United States of America. While we studied the Declaration of Independence, I can't quite remember everything in Independence, but I think that's good at least to have some remembrance of that. The Emancipation Proclamation, I think that is a fair thing that they must do as well. At least 5 essays from Federalist Papers as determined by the instructor. Now, I think that while it gives the instructor some autonomy there, a lot of stuff in the Federalist Papers that makes it the Constitution anyway. So you pick something that makes it the Constitution to argue why it should have and shouldn't. I mean, I think that creates a great conversation, debate within the classroom, which provokes thought and thinking. So perhaps that is a great thing as well. Dr. Martin Luther King letters from Birmingham jail, the Gettysburg Address, and the North Carolina State Constitution. I definitely think they should, so it's kind of crazy because a lot of stuff, you may say it doesn't make sense, and then, okay, I don't know. Look, I don't ran way out of time, but Cassandra Whitaker, good morning to you. Thank you all for tuning in. WNCR, Linda Cooper, thank you for tuning in too. Do you think is there some type of plan to make the city manager local as opposed to out of town? Well, I just think that cities and towns are having a hard time finding representation outside of town. So a lot of people are hiring from within. That's becoming a practice. Look at Greenville. Look, I don't know what the city of Wilson is going to do, but I don't know what the city of Wilmington is going to do either. But a lot of talent is unwilling to relocate families and move here and there because there are a lot of people you move and get uprooted, and next thing you know, they tell you to hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more. So That's kind of where we are on the city manager thing. And so perhaps it will be wise for City of Rocky Mount to make a similar action as well as we continue to progress forward with economic development, economic opportunity, and prosperity for our community. I'll see you tomorrow after the City Council meeting. Sure to do it all over again on WNCR-TV Now to talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation. Don't forget, Pop's Diner opens up at 11 a.m. until 6 p.m., serving hot dogs, hamburgers, you name it. We have those today, and pizza, so check us out there. And I think that's about all. Of course, got to have it auto sales and Promise and Childcare. And I know people have been coming by there looking for childcare. And again, I encourage you to call versus coming so you can save your trip if we can't accommodate you based on the age of your child or children. But thank you for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Do it all over again on WNCR TV Now.